Everyone.
Hey guys. So, little disclaimer, things are about to get Jewy. I've kind of had enough of Christmas already, and it hasn't even happened yet. So, my little set, as long as I'm up here on stage, this is not Christmas. It is actually Hanukkah right now. So, just like any good Jewish gathering, I brought food. So, I brought everyone challah. I made it myself today.
Wow!
How dare you?
Yes.
How do you eat it?
You just tear it off.
So actually, one quick Christmas comment. When I hope everyone enjoys this nice set for our Christmas show for What the Dickens. It's a really great show. There's only a few more performances left, so please get tickets for it soon. Sitting from the back row, I just now noticed that if you look up at this wall, at these wreaths and the shelf, it kind of looks like a face. But it's not a happy face and it's not a sad face. I think that this is now the ghost of Christmas neutrality. So I wanted to actually start this off by lighting a menorah on stage. Except apparently that's against fire code in the city of Cambridge to light things indoors. I feel discriminated against. So, this being the digital age, I've brought something special.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Alright, so this is our menorah for the night. So the tradition is that in Jewish tradition, there's a lot of candle lighting, and if any candle's worth lighting, then it's worth waiting until it actually goes out. And sometimes it takes a really long time, so we started inventing quick-burning candles. And thankfully, the internet also has quick-burning candles, and these will be out before too long anyway. So what I want to actually tell everyone about is the first time that my friends found out that I did not celebrate Christmas. I am actually not from around these parts. I'm from North Carolina, and a lot of people are always like, hey, how can you handle being Jewish in the South? Well, when you're 6 years old, you don't know that you're any different than anyone else. Like, everyone's the same, and that's what your kindergarten teacher tells you. Like, oh, we're all special on the inside. We're all the same. Everything's great. But that's as long as no one knows that you're different. So it was the very last day of school before winter break in 3rd grade. And I was the last person to get there because my school bus was running late. And when I get there, I walk into the room and everyone's sitting at their desk doing their morning warm-up activities, which in 3rd grade, everyone was usually like a connect the dots, coloring in kind of thing. And everyone has a blank printout of a Christmas tree sitting on their desk, and everyone's like with crayons coloring in their own Christmas tree and decorating their tree. So I walk in and the teacher sees me from across the room and she's like, Ben, I'm so glad you're here. I put a menorah on your desk. And immediately every single kid in the room, and this blew my mind. Like, I was so proud to have these friends. They look at the teacher and they're like, Mrs. Smith, that is so mean. Just because Ben's late for class, he doesn't get a Christmas tree? Awful. And so the teacher says, no, Ben's not being punished. Ben's Jewish. He doesn't celebrate Christmas. And then all of a sudden, these 38-year-olds who had come so quickly to my defense were like, what? Dude, what's wrong with you? Like, that, automatically, they knew that I was different, and that affected my social life. Still does. So it was a little rough growing up in those parts, especially the following year when there was the very last day before winter break. We were doing storytelling in 4th grade, and the teacher starts talking about Santa Claus and like reading the poem. What's that? The poem. A rose such a clatter.
Night Before Christmas.
Night Before Christmas, right? Yeah, I don't know. So and I was like, and I said something to the degree of wow, Hanukkah doesn't have any cool characters characters we tell stories about. And everyone in the room's like, Santa Claus isn't a character. I was like, you sure about that? That's how I revealed to 30 people simultaneously that there was no Santa Claus. And again, my social life has been great. But so a lot of people actually, oh look, our candles are out already. It's great when things work out like that. Which is fun because I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the actual story of Hanukkah. Because a lot of people are like, hey, I don't know what Hanukkah is. There's some lights and there's this spinning thing, and that's really all they know. Hanukkah actually isn't a religious holiday. I mean, it kind of is, it kind of isn't. It's really a historical commemoration of this big war that was fought. But here, let's get to the slides, shall we? Wait for it.
Do it, Cuddy, do it. In the challah.
All right. Is everyone got the challah? It's going around. I know that's hard for a lot of you to pronounce, but it's very good for you all to eat. All right. So this is the story of Hanukkah as told by a religiously observant yet socially pessimistic person. So Chanukah, as you see in Hebrew, I know most of you can't read that, but again, this is my holiday, not yours. So So Chanukah is actually about this big war that was fought a long time ago when the Greeks invaded the land of Israel. At the time it was called Judah. Now let me tell you something about these Greeks. You all may recognize this as Gerard Butler in the movie 300, when the mighty Greeks defeated the evil Persians. The Persians were actually pretty cool. I'll tell you why. The Jews had already been conquered by the Babylonians. And then the Persians came in, kicked out the Babylonians, made one of the Jews their queen, and treated everybody with absolute respect. And was like, you know what? Your land's owned by Persia, but you can still be Jewish, and that's cool. The Greeks come in and say, well, screw your tradition. You're all going to be Greek. You're going to learn our philosophy. You're going to pray to our gods. They ransacked all the temples. Like, it was awful. The Greeks are awful people, and this just goes to show you that no matter what you think, the Jews actually do not own all of Hollywood. Otherwise, things like this wouldn't get made. All right. So during this time, the Jews still, in small groups got together to do their own customs and their traditions. But whenever a Greek soldier would come up and ask what they were doing, they'd hide all their books, stop studying, and they'd pull out these little spinning tops and be like, oh, we're just playing this game. We're doing a little gambling. And this was called dreidel. What do you do with a dreidel? You spin it. Anyway, a lot of people wonder, okay, so we have this game dreidel, that's where it comes from. It was a way of hiding what you were actually doing. So instead, let's just gamble away all our money, and we know how much Jews love money. So the game of dreidel works like this. Everyone starts with like a pile of gold. In today's standards, it's usually pieces of chocolate. Everyone starts off by putting one piece of chocolate into the middle, into the pot. And then one by one, everyone spins the dreidel. Now there are 4 different ways that this can work out for you. You can land on the letter Nun, the letter Gimel, Hey, or Shin. What most people don't know is this is actually an acronym. This part's not funny. You can zone out if you want to. This is just a little piece of fact. It's actually an acronym for Nes Gadol HaYasham, which means a great miracle happened there. But if you go to Israel, since it actually happened there, it would be stupid of them to say it happened there. So they have a different phrase, Nes Gadol HaYapo, which means a great miracle happens here. Which is kind of weird because you know that phrase, neither here nor there? It makes you think it has to be there or here. But anyway. All right. So here's what happens. If you land on a nun, nothing happens at all. You don't win anything, you don't lose anything. You're still good, right? Land on Gimel, you win the entire pot. You land on Hay, you win half of what's there. And if you land on Shin, you have to take one of the pieces you already have and put into the middle. Now, I don't know how many of you took statistics in college. The odds of winning this game, 50%. The odds of losing, 25%. How Jewish is that? So anyway, this big war is fought, and the Jews, there were very actually few Jewish military. I mean, think about it. Come on, like geeky little wimpy Jewish kids like fighting up against the Greek army. I mean, you saw Gerard Butler's muscles, right? That part's accurate. So you have this very small group of Jews fighting against a very large Greek army. So it's kind of like the reverse of the Occupy movement. So you were cheering for the 1%? And they did. And it's like this amazing thing, and that's the miracle of Hanukkah, is that the small defeated the many, the conquering Greeks. But the thing is that, where's the menorah come from? The menorah was actually a symbol way before Hanukkah was a thing, and it was this big, elaborate, golden candelabra that we would light every week. But the Greeks had completely destroyed the place where it was kept, and they wanted to relight it. And so, since smaller kids don't really understand the importance of winning battles, they know support your troops, but they don't know exactly what that means in terms of an ancient battle. This is also a problem I have, because I'm also a religious school teacher for Jewish kids, and Jewish kids keep hearing about how many times we've been conquered, but they never hear about the war heroes. And that's a shame. We should really bring those back and make a movie of that one. But so, these kids are told that the miracle of Hanukkah is that when they tried to relight the menorah, there wasn't any oil. They had enough oil to last one night, one whole day, while someone had to go to the next country over and bring back more oil to keep lighting. But the big miracle of Hanukkah is that the oil lasted 8 days, which was long enough for someone to go out and bring back more. So on behalf of my people, I want to apologize to the entire Western civilization for your dependency on foreign oil. You're welcome. Thank you.